All right, let's dive right in. Today we're talking about the invisible strings that pull at our attention every single day. We're going to break down how the apps on your phone are built, not just to be useful, but to be, well, downright addictive.
You know the feeling, right? You just mean to check one little thing on your phone, and then you look up at the clock, and bam, a whole hour has just evaporated. You're left wondering, where did that time go? And why was it so hard to just put the phone down?
And this is maybe the single most important thing to get. That feeling of being sucked in, that's not you failing. It's not a lack of willpower. It's the result of incredibly smart people using a deliberate system to engineer your attention. It's all by design.
I love this quote from Tristan Harris, who used to be a design ethicist at Google. He says, "We're living inside a 24/7 magic trick." And that's exactly what it is. There are hidden forces guiding what we see and do. And these platforms, well, they know our psychological triggers better than we know them ourselves.
So, to really understand how this magic trick works, we got to peek under the hood, inside our own brains. We're about to see the ancient wiring that all of this modern tech is built to tap into.
Okay, so this right here is the mesolimbic dopamine pathway. It's a bit of a mouthful, but you can just think of it as the brain's original motivation engine. It's this super old, primitive system that evolved to give us a little kick, a little reward, for doing things that help us survive. You know, like finding food or making friends.
Now this is where things get really interesting, because we have to bust a huge myth. We always hear that dopamine is the pleasure chemical, but it's not. Modern neuroscience shows it's actually the wanting chemical. It's the gas in the engine that makes you go seek the reward. The actual pleasure you get, the liking part, that's a whole different process. Dopamine is all about the hunt.
And these are the things our brains are now hunting for in this new digital world. Likes, comments, follower counts, notifications. Every single one of these is a tiny, unpredictable little prize that's perfectly engineered to fire up that dopamine system and keep us wanting more.
What's absolutely wild is that our ancient brain doesn't know the difference between a digital reward and a real-world one. Seriously. Brain scans show that getting a like on your photo lights up the very same neural circuits as finding a meal when you're hungry or finding a $20 bill on the street.
So, that's the biology. We have this ancient wanting system. Now let's switch gears and look at how the technology has been built from the ground up to turn that biology into a powerfully compulsive habit.
This is the key metaphor. Your phone is basically a slot machine in your pocket. Think about it. The pull to refresh gesture, that's you pulling the lever. The infinite scroll, that's the machine just spinning and spinning. You're performing an action, hoping for a reward, a funny post, a nice comment, but you never ever know when you're going to hit the jackpot. And there's actually a scientific name for this trick. It's called a variable reinforcement schedule. It comes straight out of behavioral psychology, and it is without a doubt the most powerful way known to science to hook a brain to a behavior. Because you don't know when the reward is coming, the act of checking becomes almost impossible to stop.
And here's the neuroscience that explains why that works so darn well. The biggest dopamine hit doesn't come when you get the reward. No, it happens a split second before, in that moment of pure anticipation when the outcome is uncertain. It's the maybe, the possibility of a jackpot, that keeps us pulling that lever or refreshing that feed again and again and again.
This whole process has been mapped out. It's called the hook model, and it's basically the playbook for building habit-forming tech. It starts with a trigger, could be a notification or just feeling bored. That leads you to an action, opening the app. Then you get that variable reward we talked about. And finally, you make a tiny investment, a like, a share, a comment, which loads the next trigger and keeps this whole loop spinning.
And today, this entire loop is on steroids thanks to artificial intelligence. As Tristan Harris puts it, it's like they pointed an AI at our minds and told it, play chess against this person, and I want you to be thinking 20 moves ahead of where they are. The system learns exactly what keeps you hooked and serves it up on an endless platter.
So, what's the outcome of all this sophisticated engineering? Well, the numbers are just staggering. Researchers now estimate that about 210 million people around the world have what can be diagnosed as a genuine addiction to social media and the internet. Okay, so the system is powerful. It's designed to hook us. But here's the good news. Just understanding how the trick works is the first giant step toward breaking the spell. So let's talk about a few real strategies for taking back control.
The big shift we need to make is from mindless scrolling to mindful scrolling. So instead of just passively letting the algorithm take you for a ride because you're bored, you can start using these apps with intention. Before you open it, just ask yourself,
Why am I opening this right now? What do I actually want from it? That tiny pause can be a game changer.
And here's a super practical 3-step plan. First, kill the triggers. Turn off every single notification on your phone, except for ones from actual human beings. Second, add some friction. Put time limits on your apps. Make it a little harder to just mindlessly open them. And third, cut your investment. Go on an unfollowing spree. If an account makes you feel bad or just waste your time, get rid of it.
Look, the goal here isn't to become a hermit or to smash your phone and go live in the woods. It's about agency. It's about you deciding how these incredibly powerful tools are going to fit into your life. It's about making them work for your goals, not the other way around.
And that really just leaves us with one final big question to think about. In this new world, this new attention economy, is your attention something you choose to give, or has it become a currency that's being spent for you without you even realizing it?